from the son of America's vice president, who may have been eaten by cannibals, to the leader of Hitler's Gestapo. Here are 10 creepy unsolved disappearances. In 1938, Michael Rockefeller was born into the powerful Rockefeller family. 23 years later, he went missing while in Papua New Guinea. On November 17, 1961, he and another man were in a canoe stranded. They were 12 miles away from any land. Michael Rockefeller decided to swim to safety, so he got out of the canoe and set off. He was never seen again. He was presumed to have drowned. An investigator was hired by the family. He went to the area of disappearance, which was occupied by cannibal tribes. While there, he was told that a white man did swim to the shore and was killed by cannibals. Many people told him this story, and it's a real possibility. But this photograph recently emerged. It clearly shows a white man who lived with a cannibal tribe. Some believe this is Michael Rockefeller. The image was taken 8 years after his disappearance. In 1943, 2 American soldiers disappeared from within a moving blimp. Blimps were commonly used to guard the coastline, and the 2 men were sent on patrol. Several hours later, the blimp crash-landed. No one was on board when it was discovered, and no one knows what happened to the 2 men. The blimp engine and electronics were still working, and no lifeboats or parachutes were found out of place. It's since been dubbed the Ghost Blimp, as no one is quite sure what happened. Charlie Ross disappeared in 1874, so I assume he's dead by now. He was just 4 years old when he went missing. On July the 1st, he was playing outside with his sibling when 2 men emerged from a horse-drawn carriage. They offered the boys food and a free ride in their carriage. The offer was accepted. After a while, the men stopped the carriage. They gave 25 cents to Charlie's brother and told him to buy the food. When he returned from the store, the others were gone. Charlie Ross was never seen again. Mary Moroney was kidnapped at the age of 2 in 1930. On May 14th, her parents were paid a visit by a stranger who wanted to take their daughter to California with her. This offer was refused, but the stranger promised to return. The stranger returned the next day. This time she offered to help the father find a job. She also offered to take the child and buy her some new clothes. These offers were accepted as the stranger seemed genuine and honest. So she took Mary away, but she never returned with the child. It's unknown what ultimately happened to her. Benjamin Bathurst was a British diplomat during the Napoleonic Wars. In 1809, Bathurst disappeared while in Germany. With a companion, he was traveling across Europe when they decided to spend the night at an inn. After a while of drinking, the 2 men went back outside to unharness the horses. After that, Bathurst climbed into the carriage. Moments later, his companion followed to see no one inside. Bathurst had disappeared. It's now assumed he was somehow captured by the French. This was during the war, and Bathurst was a high-profile figure. Louis Le Prince has been called the father of cinematography. As an inventor, he recorded this in 1888. It's the oldest surviving film. 2 years later, he mysteriously disappeared. At the time, he was on board a train going to the UK. When the train arrived, Le Prince was no longer on board. He simply disappeared, along with his luggage. Other passengers reported seeing him on the train. There was no evidence that he jumped out during the journey. He had no reason to go into hiding, yet he was never seen again. In 1979, 5 men took a boat called the Sara Jo on a fishing trip. They went to some water near Hawaii. A massive storm struck the area they were in, and they never returned. It was assumed they drowned in the storm, but here's where it gets interesting. After 9 years, pieces of the boat were found on an island 2,000 miles away. One of the crew members' bodies was also found buried there, but with no sign of the others. The really creepy thing is that the island was searched 2 years before, so the body was buried there 7 years after they went missing. But who buried him, and what happened to the other crew members? Dorothy Distelhurst was kidnapped in 1934 at the age of 5. She disappeared while walking home from school. Something confusing is that her family received dozens of ransom letters, so they didn't know which was genuine. One letter said that if they didn't pay $175,000, their daughter would have her eyes burned out with acid. They didn't pay the money. Weeks later, her corpse was discovered. Her face had been mutilated with acid. Her killer was never identified. Solomon Northup was born in New York, where the slave trade was illegal. In 1841, he took a job in Washington, D.C., where he was kidnapped and sold into slavery. It was 12 years before he regained his freedom. The film 12 Years a Slave tells his story. What a lot of people don't know is that he disappeared after regaining his freedom. His last known location was in 1857. He was in Canada. Maybe he died there. But in 1858, a newspaper reported that he was kidnapped in Canada and sold into slavery once again. His relatives believed this. Others thought he abandoned his family and ran away. His disappearance is still unexplained. Heinrich Muller was the head of Nazi Germany's secret police. This made him a high-profile target after the war, but he was never captured. He disappeared and hasn't been seen since. He was last seen on May 1st, 1945. He was in the bunker where Adolf Hitler killed himself the day before. There are a number of theories regarding his fate. He could have committed suicide or been killed. He may have been captured by the Soviets. He may have escaped Germany and lived in hiding since. Adolf Eichmann was another Nazi on the run. He was captured and put on trial in Israel. During the trial, he said that he believed Heinrich Muller is alive and well. Either way, he's dead now.